Hi there, my name is Marley and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing the books that I plan on reading in the month of September, my birthday month. I think I have about 9 books to talk about, so let's just jump into it and not waste any time here. So first of all, I plan on doing a bit of a secret TBR type of video. It sort of is related to the fact that it is my birthday month. It's a little bit themed with my birthday, but that's all I'm gonna say. The first book I'm going to read is That Summer by Sarah Dessen. This is a YA contemporary book, and I believe it is actually Sarah Dessen's first ever published book. It is rather short, and it follows this teenage girl named Haven. I actually quite like that name. She just has a lot of teen angst going on. It doesn't sound like anything groundbreaking. Her dad is getting remarried, her sister is getting married, and she just keeps growing taller. So a lot of, teenage angst in here. Then I want to get to Bridget Jones's Diary by Helen Fielding. Obviously, I have heard of Bridget Jones, and I believe I've seen some of the movie, if not all of it. I've also read the book series Georgia Nicholson, which I believe was sort of inspired by Bridget Jones's Diary, but more like a teenage version. So if you guys don't know, Bridget Jones's Diary is a book that is written like a diary. I'm pretty sure like the whole book is like little diary entries from this woman named Bridget Jones, who is a British woman. I'm not sure if she's in her 20s or 30s, and it's just sort of like a romantic comedy type of book. There's been movies for it that you're probably more familiar with, but yeah, this is also for that secret TBR. Let me know if you have any ideas of what this theme is going to be. The next book I want to read is Moonlight Becomes You by Mary Higgins Clark. Now this is more of a thriller book, and I'm gonna have to look up the description real quick because I'm not super familiar with it. So this book seems to follow a photographer named Maggie Holloway, and she goes to visit her stepmother at her like old estate, and then finds out that her stepmother has been murdered and that she is the beneficiary of her will. And while she is in town, she sort of discovers that there is a slew of murders going on, and there's a bit of a pattern to it. So I think she just gets wrapped up in that whole mystery and the serial killer mystery. So that should be fun. Then we have a book that is super popular. I don't think I have to say much about it. People We Meet on Vacation. I've shown it like multiple times on my channel now, as I hauled it recently. This is a romance book by Emily Henry about these two people who used to be friends and go on vacation a lot, and then they had some sort of falling out, and now it is like years later and they are trying to reconnect, going on vacation again, and of course they will probably fall in love. So really excited to finally read this because like everyone has basically on the internet. This will be a good book to kind of like end the summer with, I guess. Then I want to take on reading An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Some of these books I plan on doing for a video as well, which you'll see later. This is some sort of like dystopian or fantasy YA book that I've been hearing a lot about. I know it recently ended like last year, so perfect time to read it, especially because my boyfriend recently received this book. It's not actually my copy, it's his, so I thought I would just borrow it. But yeah, even though I've heard so much about this book or seen it around, I actually don't really know how to describe the plot, but I assume it has to do with like some warriors or something. Then I want to read The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a YA mystery thriller novel about this girl, similar to actually that other thriller novel I mentioned, a little similar. This rich man ends up dying and leaving all of his belongings to this girl that like he did not even know, or she did not even know him. So she's very confused as to why she's being left his whole estate. In the meantime, all of his family members are like really pissed about it, and I think it's like a mystery trying to figure out why she was left all of his money. And as you can imagine, this sounds very similar to Knives Out, and it has been compared to Knives Out a lot, and I enjoyed that movie, so I look forward to reading this finally, as I've seen quite a few people talk about this book, and I think it's going to be a series as well. Then we have Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas, the biggest book on my TBR. I actually haven't read Tower of Dawn yet, which is the book before this, but I'm filming this a little early, hoping I will have finished Tower of Dawn by next month. So then this will be the last book in the Throne of Glass series. I am very eager to finish the series, see how it ends for one thing, but also just to kind of like be done with it and like move on and keep reading the Court of Thorns and the ACOTAR series that I have started now. Can't really explain this because it is like the 7th book in the series, but it has to do with fairies, it's fantasy, it's action, it's romance. There's witches as well. There you go. Then we have a bit of a controversial pick, and that's Survive the Night by one of my favorite authors, Riley Sager. Again, I've mentioned this a few times that I've been wanting to read it, and I'm going to make time in September so I can finally see what I think about the book, because I've seen so many people hype it up and I've seen so many people absolutely trash it, and I just don't see how there could be such a big disconnect there. So I'm really curious what I will think, but I know it follows this girl in the 90s and she ends up carpooling with this man, and then she ends up suspecting him of being a murderer who in fact recently killed her best friend that she's grieving. So it's a bit of a thriller, obviously, of I think her being, you know, unsure if she's in the car with a serial killer, maybe trying to get away, that kind of thing. I think the premise and the setting sounds pretty cool. I'm very interested to see what twist Riley will come up with, or maybe to see how bad it is according to some people. I don't know, we'll see. Then for the final book I want to mention, it is Someone We Know by Sherry Lapina. Ooh, I like how it matches my headband. This would be the first Sherry Lapina book I've read, but I'm really intrigued to start reading a new thriller author. This book is about this neighborhood that seems like they're all nice and friendly, but really everyone has a bunch of secrets, and when this teenager starts digging into the secrets, there's some like anonymous notes going around, and eventually it leads to someone getting murdered, and then of course it's a big mystery surrounding who killed her and why. Kind of just a classic thriller, but I'm always interested to see what the author will do, what new twists there will be, or even just to see the typical tropes you always see in thrillers. So that's my TBR for the month. As always, let me know if you've read any of these books, or let me know what you are going to be reading. And please check out all of my social media links below and add me so we can be friends. And as always, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!